Lots of Tesla stock news today, and actually some good news, although this initially looks like bad news. Tomorrow, Elon Musk will be on CNBC. While typically this wouldn't really be important news because Elon gives interviews quite often, this one is going to be right after the shareholder meeting, and this is right after we have this rumor that Elon perhaps is going to step down and no longer be the CEO of Tesla. And I see some Tesla stock investors saying things like this. I'm not saying Elon is stepping down as former CEO of Tesla tomorrow, but if he was to announce it at tomorrow's annual shareholder meeting, then it would make sense to do this interview with CNBC right after. I don't think this is probable, but if I put the odds at 1 to 5% before, now it's about 5 to 20% in my mind that Elon would step down as the CEO. Elon made it clear that he will be spending more time at Tesla, but he didn't specify that he would remain the CEO of Tesla. CNBC shared a few details about tomorrow's interview with Elon Musk. Let's see if they have any really important details.
I'm going to be sitting down with Elon Musk after the company's annual meeting. Tesla's annual meeting will be taking place, of course, in Austin at the Gigafactory. And we're going to have an opportunity to sit down with Elon Musk.
Congratulations. That's very good.
For what we're hoping is at least 45 minutes. That's the scheduled time.
45 minutes is a pretty long time, and often Elon Musk goes over the scheduled time if the interview is in person, unless he has a scheduled court appearance like he did in this case with Ron Barron back in November, I think.
He makes his own schedule, of course. Does Elon? He sets his own schedule. He's incredible.
Did he choose to preempt me because he thinks I'm a hologram?
He didn't discuss that.
But yeah,
whether
that's
or
even
not
worse.
He thinks you're a hologram.
I'm the lowest of the low.
Congratulations. But sit down with him to talk about, by the way, nothing's off limits when it comes to Musk, and he's always willing to talk about anything. But my expectation is, of course, we will start, Carl, with discussion of Tesla in part and pricing, and see what else comes out of their annual meeting tomorrow, because we'll be talking after it takes place.
Yep. The new model in some cases of actual production, which is getting attention in the industry.
How exciting is that?
Yeah, we actually have pretty big news out of Fremont. Tesla will demolish an updated production line at Fremont, perhaps for the new Highland Model 3. And this part specifically is pretty important. In the past, says Teslarati, we have reported on Tesla updating lines at Fremont after the equipment used has aged or needs to be replaced for other reasons. Tesla does not demolish entire lines with the installation of updated equipment. Instead, it files the line revisions as improvements, upgrades, or revisions, but not as demolitions like it did in this case. To me, that makes it sort of rather obvious, I think, that this is about the refreshed Model 3 Highland. Not guaranteed, of course, but very likely.
I could talk to him, we all could, for 3 hours. I mean, when you start Tesla and then Twitter, the new CEO, you want to talk SpaceX and Starlink,
NBC?
You want to talk AI, and then, given he is the most consequential businessman on the planet, there's just an incredible amount of interest in general in him. So there's no way we'll get enough time, but we're certainly looking forward to whatever we can.
It appears that CNBC is going to do a much better job than BBC interviewing Elon Musk, because the BBC interviewer tried to end the interview multiple times, but Elon Musk just kept going. Obviously, it appears that the CNBC reporter understands if you have Elon Musk, yeah, keep on going for as long as you can have him. And this is where this news is actually really good news and bullish news for me as well, because I would assume, based on this new information that we have now, that Elon is not going to step down as the CEO of Tesla, because he just sent an email to all of the employees at Tesla saying that he has to approve every single hire by himself. Every single hire. Tesla hires tens of thousands of people every year. Electric obtained an email that Elon Musk sent to Tesla employees today. In the email, Musk said that he wants to get a better understanding of hiring at Tesla. In order to do so, he seems to indicate that he needs to approve all new hires, even contractors. Tesla hires 30,000 people per year, and I think that's just employees. So you add contractors on top of that, and it's a whole lot more. If Elon spends just 1 minute per candidate, that is 500 hours of time for 30,000 positions. But I think this is going to be probably more of a temporary thing. And Elon said that the reason why he's doing that is because he wants to understand better how Tesla is hiring currently. And I think also he wants to cut the costs and improve Tesla's margins. But if this continues for a longer time, then it would be equivalent to 12.5 work weeks if we assume that a work week is just 40 hours. So that would take a lot of time if Elon continues doing that for a long time. Elon told executives to send him a list of hiring requests on a weekly basis, while also cautioning them to think carefully before submitting such requests, according to the memo which was viewed by the information. This is the kind of thing that the CEO does and not a chief technology officer. So what are the chances that Elon is actually thinking of stepping down right now? This would make no sense to me right now with the information that we have available. It's still, of course, possible that Elon may decide to step down as a CEO, but what he's doing here does not indicate that he's actually going to do that. But most importantly, to me, this is actually really bullish long term, because if you think that Elon is smart enough to be able to accelerate the progress of Tesla by spending more time on Tesla, then right now you are very happy. On the flip side though, you could also make an argument that Elon is doing that because before he steps down as the CEO, he wants to make sure that everything is running smoothly. It's possible, but I think that is less likely, a lot less likely. Some Tesla stock investors, for example, Ross Gerber, they were thinking that maybe Elon is moving on from Tesla, but this would suggest the complete opposite. If anything, Elon seemingly is trying to dedicate more time to Tesla now. We just got a glimpse at the updated Warren Buffett portfolio, and guess what? One of the biggest moves that he is making is reducing his GM position. Smart move. Tomorrow, Tesla will be holding an event, a shareholder meeting, and therefore, Tesla stock is down today. But it's not down much, it's not even down 1%. Gary says he doesn't understand why some investors are selling in front of a meeting. I don't see any negative surprises. These meetings are usually very scripted and upbeat, and he's doing a live interview with David Faber on CNBC. Unless you think that Elon is going to remove himself from a CEO position, I don't think there is any major news tomorrow, really. Gary Blatt just has this list, nothing really new for Tesla. He thinks that Tesla may talk about the Model 3 refresh, the Highland refresh. I don't think that's likely unless the car is pretty much ready to go now, because otherwise you will have an Osborne effect where people will see the new one and then they go like, oh, let's not buy the old one. Let's wait a little bit for the new one. If you are a Tesla shareholder, make sure that you vote if you haven't yet. The deadline is 11 p.m. Pacific time today. Just follow the board's recommendations for voting. Look at Elon dancing. This is new. I think perhaps he's excited about having the new CEO for Twitter, as well as spending some more time at Tesla going forward maybe. We also learned today that George Soros has sold all of his Tesla stock. I don't really see that as a negative because it's only $16 million and the guy is a multi-billionaire. Elon Musk is in Paris, so that's looking good. Elon met with the president of France, and I say that is good because there was this article recently that said that France is no longer going to subsidize any vehicles that come from China, and perhaps there was some concern that maybe even the vehicles made in Giga Berlin would not get the subsidies anymore if they are sold in France, and maybe that question was brought up, and hopefully Tesla will keep getting these subsidies if the cars are made in Giga Berlin, which I think would make a lot of sense because Germany and France are both in the European Union. We got more Tesla stock news, and this piece, I don't know how to really think about it yet. My first reaction is not positive. Take a look for yourself. This account has provided us some good information about the next generation full self-driving computer. So this account is pretty good. Looks like Tesla is planning a big boost to camera-based driver monitoring. They are now tracking additional things like how many yawns a driver had recently, how many blinks, and how long they were leaning. All of this is to calculate how drowsy the driver is. Okay, so far, no problem. If you have your autopilot on, or especially full self-driving on, yeah, definitely, I fully agree with that. It's a good thing. But it also looks like they are planning to apply this even when not on autopilot, which is a very right move, he says, by seeing how well centered the driving is. How many lane keep assist warnings and corrections happened lately? I haven't dug very deep into this. I hope that this is just for when the car is in robotaxi mode. But if this actually happens when it's not in full self-driving mode, not in autopilot mode, I would like a very detailed explanation about this. But if I can turn it off, then I have no issues with this, as long as I can turn it off if I don't want this feature to be on. I understand how possibly this could affect your maybe safety score in the future, and maybe you would be able to get better insurance rates if you don't mind yourself being filmed and monitored throughout every drive. But one of my friends saw this and said, yeah, I'm not buying a Tesla because of this. Communication about this, I think, is going to be important. And some more good Tesla stock news. The Model 3 long range rear-wheel drive, not all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive is coming soon to Europe, which is going to be cheaper, probably boosting demand in Europe. This one, though, is going to be imported from Shanghai. It doesn't seem like it's going to be made in Berlin, at least not yet. I would say this is actually a really good deal for most consumers. If you are on a tight budget, this is the one that I would recommend, because you still have a lot of range, and all-wheel drive is not really necessary for snow because it's electric and it has instant torque. And I tried a rear-wheel drive on a very rainy day and on snow, and it's good. All-wheel drive, of course, is going to be a little bit better, but compared to a gas vehicle, if I had to choose between an all-wheel drive gas-powered vehicle and a rear-wheel drive Tesla, if I'm driving, let's say in December and there's a whole lot of snow, I think I'm going with a Tesla, assuming that both of them have snow tires. I tried really hard to spin out in a Model 3 rear-wheel drive on a snowy day, and I couldn't. And when I took an all-wheel drive Mercedes, and yeah, I was able to do it with that one. Rivian just slashed the wait times for the R1T because supposedly they are ramping their production a lot, but I guess demand is just not keeping up with the production because the wait times have come down. Maybe they are going to be fine, or maybe their inventory is going to build up just like Lucid's did. And Ford is laying off 1,300 people in China as sales plummet. This video explains why Tesla board members are now buying more Tesla stock. My name is Matt Post. Just like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.